Ertugrul is the father of Osman. With the small part of Kai tribe, Ertugrul with only 400 tents, went on the challenging path toward the west and made foundation for one of the greatest empires. After Sultan Aladdin was poisoned by Sudettin Köpek, he revolted against Köpek's government, and proclaimed his own state, the city of Sogat, its capital. His love and respect for his wife was widely known. He had 4 sons with Halim Sultan, and he died at 90 years old. The last 10 years of his life were spent quietly in his tribe, when due to the old age, he transferred all his responsibilities to his youngest son Osman. A historical proof of his life are the coins minted by Osman which identify Ertugrul as the name of his father, but beyond this not much is known about him apart from folktales. There is information and historical facts about him that are kept in Turkish archives, within Ibn Arab's chronologies, in Western archives about Templars, in Byzantine's chronologies and in legends, but this information only amounts to around 7 pages of sources according to the actor Engin Altman Düzyatan, who gave life to this great character. Despite this, Engin considers it a great privilege to play Ertugrul as he was the first person in Turkish history to move away from the nomadic lifestyle and look to establish a state that went on to last 600 years. We do know he was buried in Sogat in 1280. Around his tomb are graves of Halim Sultan, Haim Mother, his sons, Gunduz, Savci Bey, Saru Batu and Osman, his brother Dundar, Turgut Alp, Samsa Alp, Abdurrahman, and many others of his Alps, who reached Sogat with Ertugrul Bey. The ones that were not buried there, died along the way. Osman I. Osman is known as the father of the Ottoman Empire as from his Beylik Principality the expansion of the Ottoman territory began. In the history books you will often see Ottoman rule referred to as the Osmanli dynasty. Osman came very late to his parents. He was born late in Ertugrul and Halim's life. When Osman was born, 1258, Ertugrul was around 67 years old, and as Halim was older too, when normally women cannot have children anymore, he was considered as a miracle sent by God. Historians consider a black hole in Ottoman history during Osman's life as what is written about him was uncovered 100 years after he died. Gundogdu and Sungurtekin. They did not support Ertugrul's path and as we know, and over time faded in history. They lived a quiet and unremarkable life, not much is known or written about them. There are only verbal accounts, which were told by people through generations. According to that, they suffered big losses during a great Mongol invasion, and what was left of them, they lived subserviently under the Mongols' rule. Related image. Dundar Bey. He was a brave and renowned warrior, a good-hearted and loving man, devoted to his brother, his tribe, and his family. But history documents him as a weak personality and he made a lot of mistakes and throughout his long life. He died aged 92 or 93, by Osman's hand. He rebelled against one of Osman's decision and that was the last straw for Osman. Turgut Alp. He was one of the greatest and most renowned warriors in Turkish history, a blood brother to Ertugrul and his best follower and supporter, a very smart and capable man. He lived an unusually long life, even for our time. He outlived Ertugrul Bey by 35 years, and he was killed in a battle, with his legendary battle axe in his hand aged 125 years old. After Ertugrul passed away, Turgut became the main support to Osman, and when Osman established his sultanate he rewarded Turgut with the highest position, as a governor of the new state. Bamzi Bayrak. He was a legendary hero. His life has been described in the book of medieval Ottomans chronologies of that time, titled The Book of Dede Korkut. He was a fierce warrior, good-hearted and very funny man. His love life was legendary, since his heart was divided between 2 loves. He spent 16 years in a dungeon in Byzantine, and the princess, who lived in that fortress fell in love with him and helped him escape. It is not known when he died or how long he lived, only that he lived fairly long for that time, and that he was ambushed by trickery and killed, leaving behind a wife and children. We may only guess how long this character will be kept in this series. Ibn Arabi. As many of us know Ibn Arabi as a famous chronologist, mystic, philosopher, poet, sage, he is one of the world's great spiritual teachers. Ibn Arabi was born in Murcia, Andalusia, in Spain in 1165 and his writings had an immense impact throughout the Islamic world and Christian world. The universal ideas underlying his thought are of immediate relevance today. He was great inspiration and support to Ertugrul Bey. He died 1240 aged 75. After his death, Ertugrul Bey continued to draw support from Ibn Arabi, through his numerous writings, books, diaries, teachings and his other spiritual works, and through his followers. Halim Sultan. She was a Seljuk princess, very dedicated to her husband and his greatest supporter. She gave up her title and her palace's life due to her love and dedication to Ertugrul Bey. Through her marriage to Ertugrul Bey, Seljuk Turks and Oghuz Turks, two greatest Turkish branches, were irrevocably united by blood ties. Haim Mother. She lived a long life and she came with them all the way to Sogut. She was a smart, caring and brave woman, who acted as the bey of her tribe, after Suleiman Shah had died. She was widely much respected and she was called the Mother of the People. It is not clear whether she gave birth to Gundogdu, she certainly brought him up. According to one line of sources, Gundogdu was her own son. But, since Suleiman Shah had lost his first wife, before marrying Haim, there are some who believe that Gundogdu was born by that young woman. Suleiman Shah. He was a greatly respected figure of that time. He had 4 sons with Haim Mother. He died by drowning in river Euphrates, and the spot near Aleppo, where he was buried in a sacred place for Turks which is now in modern-day Syria, and that territory still belongs to Turkey. It is guarded by Turkey's military guards and you need a passport to get in there, to see the mausoleum of Suleiman Shah. Although due to the emergence of ISIS and the recent ruin of shrines and tombs from extremists, the remains were temporarily removed last year due to the situation around Aleppo, and brought to Turkey to preserve. Saadettin Köpek. According to Ottoman sources, Saadettin Köpek is considered an ambitious and evil man. His only good quality was his devotion to his state. He eventually managed to kill Sultan Aliaddin, his second wife, the Ayyubid princess and their 2 sons by poisoning in 1238. He then proclaimed Sultan Aliaddin's third and oldest son, from his first marriage, as a new sultan through whom Köpek gained a total power. However, only 1 year later, he was hanged from the palace wall. Image result for Artuk Bey. Artuk Bey. Known as Ertugrul Bey's right-hand man in the TV series, but there is so much more to his story. Artuk Bey, also known as son of Eksuk or Ibn Eksuk, was a Turkish general of the Great Seljuk Empire in the 11th century. He was the Seljuk governor of Jerusalem between 1085 to 1091. Artuk Bey lived in Kudüs up to his death in 1091. Artuk Bey was one of the commanders of the Great Seljuk Empire army during the Battle of Mackenzie in 1071. After the battle, he took part in the conquest of Anatolia on behalf of the Seljuk Empire. He captured the Yeşilırmak Valley in 1074. He also served the Sultan by quashing a rebellion in 1077. His next mission was a campaign to capture Amid, modern Diyarbakir, from the Marwanids. In this campaign he quarreled with the commander-in-chief Farodevlid, who tended to make peace with Marwanids. In a surprise attack he defeated reinforcements to Marwanids. However, when the Sultan Malik Shah I heard about the event, he suspected Artuk Bey of dissension. Artuk Bey left the battlefield and attended to Tutush I, who was Malik Shah's discordant younger brother in Syria, in 1084. In 1086 he was instrumental in defeating Suleiman, the Sultan of Seljuks of Turkey, in a battle between Suleiman and Tutush. The Beylik of Artukids was named after him, founded 11 years after his death by his sons. His valiant sons are El-Ghazi ibn Artuk, who battled Baldwin II of Edessa at the Battle of Hab, Syria, 1119, but lost, and Sokman ibn Artuk, the ally of the hot-tempered Tugtekin Bey, the governor of Damascus, against the Crusaders in 1104 at the Battle of Haran near Raqqa. On this battle the Seljuk army finally captured Crusader knights Baldwin I of Edessa, who called himself King of Tripoli and Jerusalem, and Jocelyn of Courtenay, who called himself Prince of Galilee. Although, they managed to escape later. Sokman ibn Artuk became famous and a true honor to the late Artuk Bey. Emir al-Aziz of Aleppo. Al-Aziz Muhammad ibn Ghazi (1213–1236) was the Ayyubi emir of Aleppo and the son of Az-Zahir Ghazi and grandson of the great Salahuddin al-Ayyubi the liberator of Jerusalem from the Crusaders and Templars. His mother was Daifa Khatun the daughter of Salahuddin's brother al-Adil Al-Aziz was aged just 3 when his father Az-Zahir Ghazi died in 1216 at the age of 45. He immediately inherited his father's position as ruler of Aleppo. A regency council was formed, which appointed Shihab ad-Din Turul as his guardian. Turul was a Mamluk of Az-Zahir Ghazi and the effective ruler of Aleppo for the next 15 years. Al-Aziz did not take actual control of power until the age of 17, at which point he retained Ertugrul as his treasurer. In general, he avoided becoming drawn into the complex disputes between different members of the Ayyubi dynasty, and concentrated instead on strengthening the defenses and infrastructure of Aleppo. Among the construction works begun by Az-Zahir Ghazi and completed by Al-Aziz Muhammad were the re-fortification of the citadel, and, within it, the building of the palace, the mosque, the arsenal and the water cisterns. Al-Aziz is known to have married Fatima Khatun, daughter of Al-Kamil, who apparently shared his passion for building and commissioned the construction of 2 madrasas in Aleppo. Al-Aziz died on 26 November 1236 at the age of just 23. His eldest son, An-Nasir Yusuf, was only 7 years old, so Al-Aziz's mother Dayfa Khatun assumed the regency. Surprisingly, Al-Aziz's daughter, Ghazaya Khatun, married the Seljuk Sultan of Rum, Qayqusra II, Ghiyaseddin ibn Qayqubad. Who was Sulayman Shah? Sulayman Shah is believed to have lived from 1178 until 1236, and the Turkic tribal leader is the grandfather of Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire, which lasted for 6 centuries. Turkey became a republic after the War of Liberation in 1923. Shah is the father of Ertugrul Ghazi, who in turn is the father of Osman I, the empire's first sultan and after whom the empire, which began in the 13th century, was called. Osman means Ottoman in Turkish. According to Ahmet Akgunduz and said Ozturk in Ottoman History, Misperceptions and Truths, the Ottomans came from the Kai tribe. We can state that both Osman Bey, who founded the Ottoman state that was named after him, and his father Ertugrul Ghazi, were the heads of a tribe related to the Kais, no matter how small it was. The Kai tribe was a branch of the Oghuz who migrated from east to west and ended up in Anatolia, central Turkey, during the Seljuk period. Shah was a 12th-century military leader of the Seljuk Empire, one of the first Turkish groups to settle in Anatolia. Why is this tomb so important? When he drowned in the Euphrates, his tomb remained under the control of the Ottoman Empire, and in 1921, the Treaty of Ankara signed by Turkey and France granted the former the land surrounding the tomb as well as the tomb itself. During this period, Syria was under French rule. It is Turkey's only foreign enclave, and Ankara previously said an attack on the territory would lead to consequences of a military kind. In March 2014, Abdullah Gül, Turkey's former president, said, "Our sole piece of land outside our homeland is this. It will be protected the way our homeland is protected. It's Turkey's land and it will have its flag there. I want everybody to know this." However, the mausoleum has been moved previously in 1974 about 50 miles 80 kilometers to the north when the tomb was flooded because of the construction of a new dam and a reservoir called Lake Assad.